Ahoy! Here we are, in with Chase to the Underground. We are back and we are in with the D's. And I've got to tell you, Zwift recently, I say recently, over the last couple of days or day, 24 hours, have been fiddling away with their Zwift racing score. And that seems to me that they've created a lot of D's. So we have a lot of D's out here at the moment. Currently, I count there was about 19 D's here. I think there's 15 who have made it into this front group. So a couple of them have already been dropped. Yeah, they have a very good chance of winning this week. So we will be keeping an eye on the D's. I do not know how many A's or B's there are. I think there's only a handful of C's. We are joined by a few of them in the live stream. There is Roger and James, both that way, that way on the screen. So yeah, they are keeping very busy, which is good to see. And they have got their work cut out for them today. So it's not going to be easy for them, let's be honest. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of the D's. And yeah, let's see how many manage to make it from the other categories. Don't know, but you're gonna see a lot of the D's in the live stream. If you do have any if you have any comments or anything you want to add, throw them in the chat wherever you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. I should be able to see them. That should not be a problem. Yeah, I know. If you get a Twitch alert from me, which is Talk Daisy, then yeah, Twit Malide. Not much I can do about that without updating everything all at once. A little bit of lag on my system, but we should be all right. And now my computer's also going into dark mode, which also makes everything run a bit slower. Joy. Okay. So let's get over this little laggy bump, and then we should be good. So yeah, let's hop back and let's just see if we can check in on those C's just to see where they are actually. Oh, there's way more C's than I thought there was going to be, which is good. So the C's have a pretty good chance here then. I'd say they probably have got the same amount as the D's. And you can see James is out of the saddle and his little hat is waving to and fro like a pendulum, very pendulous little hat you've got there. Yeah, well, okay. Looking at these numbers, I think the C's have got a good chance. I probably say that every week where I've done the live stream. We haven't had the live stream for the last few weeks, but yeah, it seems pretty good. I just saw also that Dan put in the chat that there aren't many A's. That doesn't come as much of a surprise. And yeah, I thought I heard Dan popping in. I'm just going to add his stream, his camera. So we've got Dan Cam, Roger Cam, and James Cam. James Camera's on. James Cameron. He should add some explosive effects to his camera. He has got some bike lights on his bike. I mean, not bike lights, Christmas lights on his bike behind him. Wow, he's really in the festive spirit. Roger does not look like he's in a festive spirit right now. He looks like he's in a world of pain, but maybe he's just pushing hard, determined for the C's to win this week. We will hop back and we will see how there are not many of the B's. So the B's are very far and few between. And we hop to the A's. So the A's have only just started. And there are 4 of them. 4 A's, 3 B's, I think. Oh, I see Warren Mura's in here. Former Canadian national Zwift champion. He might still be the Canadian national champion. I don't know whether they're still doing national champs in Canada. I think some places they did a national champs and then never did them again. So people have been national champion for like 5 years. But there we go. I think Warren has been in the chase race before, so he's no stranger. But cool to see him in with the A's. So yeah, pretty cool. I will be checking back. Then Dan, you'll be glad to hear I will pay attention to what the A's are doing. But I would have done that even if it was just you. But they have got quite a gap to close. 3 minutes to another group. Actually, I think I've forgotten already how bad the time gaps are actually on Zwift. So basically, if I just roughly guess, it should be as good as what Zwift is telling me on their platform. Excellent aerial view here of the seas. They all seem to be pretty much all together. Marnix van Zetten is saying own pace to the com. Well, yeah, let's see. So we are just entering Jarvis now. There is the bear that welcomes them. And yeah, this is the first time the chase race has come to Jarvis. Obviously, Jarvis has not been around that long since its return to Zwift. And yeah, it's quite funnily, like, obviously I joined the beta when Zwift first came around, and I thought, oh, it's going to be great to come back to Jarvis. And then you're like, actually, Zwift has come on so far since then, but not really that bothered, to be honest. But I do love my beta shoes. I wear them consistently because they're pure white. So if there's one thing about beta, I pretty much have not taken off those shoes. Nevertheless, I'd actually forgotten how hilly Jarvis is. So when I went up the com, I was not feeling too happy about it. It's harder than I remembered, that's for sure. Anyway, C's looking very dapper. Goon Man there. The Goon Man is there. What can the Goon Man do today? I don't know. We will possibly find out. We're heading towards some of the Ds. Look, Craig. I can see Craig is here with the Ds. I race with Craig in the Cs. I'm also now categorized as a D as far as racing score goes. So I just want to say, people have been saying the racing score is now fixed. It is not fixed at all. I'm not a very good C currently, but I'm definitely not a D. So still some work to do. But what has happened here, I think Eric has got to lay down the hammer a little bit, because some of them have just gone off the front, not realizing that it's actually a team race. For the majority, for 99% of the race, it is a team race. So a couple of riders off the front going past the Banjo Cafe. Another thing about the beta, I don't remember Banjo Man. I'm not supposed to say that, you know. If you were on the beta, you're supposed to remember everything and sort of lord it over everyone, but I don't remember that much. I just remember the big tree you went through. Yeah, I always liked that feature. It's probably the one you can't really miss. Maybe other people just have better memory than me. But there you go. The Ds, or what were the Ds? Well, actually, I think what we're seeing really is we're seeing some D riders and some C riders who've been putting with the Ds, and they're really Cs, and they want to push at their own pace. And that's just because Zwift have still messed up the Zwift racing score. But we'll see. We'll see how it evolves over the next few weeks. Eric's doing a pretty good job. He is keeping together the majority of the riders here. We're going to hop back and we're going to check in with the C's with the Goon Man. Where is Goon Man? I mean, I have to give. I should give Roger some. I'll give Roger a ride on, but Goon Man is the one I really care about. It's actually Van Zetten. So Van Zetten was the one who said in the chat, ride the com at your own pace. Well, he was first over the line, so that's what he meant by that. But it's a bit fractured. Get back together, says Van Zetten, who ironically was the first one over the line, riding away from everyone else. There's a little bit of irony right there. Jesus. All right. Listen to Zetten. Let's listen to Van Zetten. Jesus Christ. He's saying, why are you so slow, everyone behind me? Where's Goonman? Where's Goonman? Goonman's there. Goonman's getting a ride on. Go on, the Gooner. Okay, so that means the D's and the C's are over the testiest of the climbs. To be honest, they've held together pretty well. Sometimes on a chase race, you suddenly see groups just fall apart, like we've seen with the D's, but I think that's more of an effect of the new racing score. The C's, however, look coherent, which is great to see. They're just passing a loose D who has just fallen off the back. That's Ramirez. Let's just watch the B's, who are also on the climb now. They're doing pretty well to stay together, which is good to see. Oh, James, you're in here. Oh, I'll give James a... Wow, look, he's unzipped. The hat's off. That means business. His head's down. He's not looking... Oh, but we've got you on screen. There's a beautiful little Freeman TT going on. So even though he's clearly suffering back at home, it looks good on screen. So not a single helmet between them. I remember, when was this? It's obviously a few years ago. I remember there being like talk about how irresponsible it was for people to not wear a helmet in Zwift. Like, this is, it's a long time ago, but I distinctly remember that conversation coming up and just thinking how stupid it was. Like, oh yeah, I think this is that was really in the early days of Zwift. But yeah, they're doing really well here. I've got to say, it's got to be hard if there's just three of you. There's a little gap opened up. The problem is, unlike a TTT, they are not able to communicate with one another in the same sense. So unless they're in the voice chat, they might be, but I doubt it. I could be cruel and just go to James now and ask him for a comment, but I won't. I'll wait until he's had a bit of recovery. Like Roger, look, Roger's checking his texts. See, he's chilling out. Dan behind. You see Dan's going for already. So well done to the oh. There are all over. A few, I missed them. Good work from the freebies there. Let's check in with the A's. Well, the A's are not that far. 20 seconds. So let's hang with the A's because there's going to be a catch here. And wow, look at that. Warren has said, as the Germans say, he has said, "Bwah," and he wants to chase them down. But what is he doing? He's losing the rest of the guys. So Warren, take the rest of the guys with you. Look, Dan's chasing on. Let's go. Let's head over to Dan, see how he's in. Dan.
Yeah.
Are you ready to catch the bees? Are you ready to catch Warren first, I guess?
If we can. He's really pushing it.
He is. Well, I guess maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need someone like him to push it. But
we can see bees in front of us.
Yeah, let's have a look.
10 seconds.
Yes, you can just see. I think that's James's ass just in the back, in the foreground. We can just see him. So the A's are just coming past the Banjo Man Cafe.
You can team up.
Yeah, and I think that means we're very close. But James, if you're listening, if you've got any oomph left in you, this is your chance to team up with Dan Pan, a beautiful synergy, and then really try and stick it to Roger in the C's. So I want to see a beautiful union right here. So have a little rest here. Let's just see. James, you ready for that? Yeah, okay, we've got thumbs up. Good, that'll suffice. We're going to stay with these A's then until they make the catch, because I do love to catch the catches, and then we'll hop over and let's see whether you know, Roger's going to stay away, or if there is a chance for the C's will get caught as well, but not the way that Roger is swaying back and forth. Look at him. He means business. Oh, yeah. So we'll see. But the way, I mean, if Roger is riding, if his avatar is moving the way Roger is going, there's no chance for the A's and the B's. I mean, the A's look like they've given up a little bit. I mean, this could be a perfect team time trial. They are going to catch the B's, but they are taking their time. Warren, surely. Come on, Warren. Push on the A's again. They're being a little slapdash. Right, they're going to pass Ramirez, who's been dropped from the D's. Come on, Ramirez. Hang with the A's. I believe in you. All right, we are going to catch this catch here. And eventually. Warren's fallen to the back. It is a team time trial, pretty much. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, here is the catch. And Bosch, let's see how many of these little B's can hang tough with the A's. Will the A's sit up a little bit? I think they can't afford to. And it's really on the B's to try and stick with them. I think the A's will be wise to try and keep some of these B's with them, though. So we shall see. We shall see whether that works out. But there you go. A and B united as one. What does that make? ABBA. That's what we've got here. ABBA. Beautiful. But hopefully it won't be a tragedy. Was that the Bee Gees? I never know. I always get that wrong. I think I got that wrong. I think I got that wrong another time. And someone had to correct me. So, anyway. Oh, but look at this. The C's. They're looking absolutely glorious, to be honest. James is working hard. We have to meet you again. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. I know you're working hard. But here, the C's, still so many of them. That's bad news. That is bad news for our friends in ABBA. But let's check. Let's just see how well of those D's managed to stick together, because they were really divided after the climb. So let's just try and have a look at them. Well, this is one of the best D performances I've seen in a while. We have to call it DC. Well, the way the Zwift racing score has gone, it's probably I forgot. What's the band? AC/DC. It's probably AC/DC. That's the one. But are they on the highway to hell? We shall see. I didn't come here to do any puns, but that's just what's happening, I'm afraid. If you are in the chat, by the way, please do send us your messages, because I will pick them up and respond. That is just what I do. Helicopter view, utterly useless. We're just looking at some leaves. There we go. So D's, very, very nice. Eric has done an excellent job of marshalling them thus far. Todd is bossing around the C's. I don't know. I think my money has got to be on the C's today, but possibly the reason why the B's are so low is because there's probably a few B's in with the C's. So yeah, we shall see. Goonman is in there. That makes me incredibly happy. Goonman is probably my favorite. My favorite rider in this entire competition right now. So respect to the Goonman. Roger there. Roger is 181 BPMs. Man, it's just Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
It's okay. Just trying to hold the wheels.
Okay.
You're really strong today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of your teammate, the Goonman?
Yeah, we have I think 3 riders making very high pace at the front.
Including Zeton, who was telling you all to stick together and then rode away from you. But look, Roger is suffering. I'm not gonna ask Roger to say much more because I can hear the pain. Come on, Roger, you're doing amazing.
Cheers, man.
Wow. So if anybody thinks a chase race is easy, I can confirm it's not. Roger is suffering there. But that means the pace is very high with the C's. Probably bad news for the likes of James and Dan. Because if Roger is dying, he's not dying, he's comfortably suffering. Then that means the pace is going to be very high with the C's and that gap is not going to come down. Let's just try and see, what is that gap though? Is it really? No. Well, so the gap is 1 minute 47 according to Zwift, which could be bullshit. So always any of these time gaps you have to take with a little bit of bullshit, but it looks like it's about 1 minute 47 from the C's to the D's. Oof, with about 10k to go. So wow, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, especially if you think that the C's are already absolutely dragging themselves over hot coals already. So let's see if there's some more elevation in it. That's where there's going to be a bit of an issue for the D's especially. I think the C's will be okay if we hit any more climbs. Let's just head forwards just briefly to where those D's are. It doesn't feel like the D's are that far up the road, but they are just at the base of this climb right now. And this is where they could really start to become, what's the word? Not uncivilized. They might be uncivilized to one another. Undisciplined. So this is where the discipline could start to crumble, to be honest. And that is normally where we see things start to go wrong, especially for the D's. They do struggle normally the most out of all of the categories to stick together when there is a bit of a climb. So I thought this route would be good just because, you know, there are a couple of climbs which can slow down the groups. The D's especially have a really big advantage time gap wise. So it's not a especially long course. I think it's about 24 kilometers, but have these little bit of hills makes it a little bit more challenging. So, and we can already see there are a few of the D's who are starting to feel the pinch and starting to get dropped off. This is the steepest bit of the climb though. So if they can hold together over this bit, they will be golden, but it looks a little bit problematic for them. I've got to say, we're in here with the Gregez. And yeah, steering's not going to help either, to be honest. But look, this is not good news. Good news for the C's. So, Roger, if you're listening, it's good that the D's are all over the shop. They have split up massively. Well, the C's are incredibly close now. So that gap was bullshit. Thank you, Zwift. Utter nonsense. The C's are absolutely down the throats of the D's. And to be honest, the A's and the B's are not that far away either. Like, if they look far enough ahead, once they get round this corner, I don't know how good their vision are. If they have binoculars, if they have 20/20 vision, they can probably see some little specks on that hill over there, and that will be the C's hither yonder. So yeah, let's see how this works out. It's actually pretty close. Goon man just at the back. Come on, Goonie. We want to see you get all the way over there. There is also Blairai with a Welsh flag, but a very French name. Guna, come on! No, Goonie! Oh, look. And wow, that is a very French look right there. I don't know if these two riders could look any less French, to be honest. But sadly, the Goon Man has been dropped. I hope he's going to power on. But Todd is saying on me. Well, on me. I think on we at this point, because Todd is the one who is behind everybody else. Come on, Todd. He is going to make it back. So good on you, Todd. You don't want to be embarrassed by your own riders. But they can smell blood. And if you do look at the mini map, you probably can't see it on my screen. We can just see that these are really close to the seas right now. So it's going to honestly be pretty hard to tell whether they're going to go away with it and stay away. Or I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, to be honest. So let's hang here for the time being. Well, we'll jump around, like House of Pain. Speaking of which, I'm seeing several houses of pain from Dan, Roger, and James. I mean, suffering or what? But that's what you want to see. This is often the thing with Zwift racing, right? You see the avatars and you can't tell. Is everybody suffering? Are they okay? No, everybody is suffering. Everybody looks in a lot of discomfort. So, but that is Zwift racing. That is Zwift racing. So I'll give Craig, he is my teammate in Awakening, a ride on. Don't worry, Roger. You'll get one too. If you're lucky, if I haven't given you one already. Awakening out here in force, which is great to see. Awakening, by the way, is a APAC ZRL team, and but quite well, the majority of us aren't in APAC. We just race at 9 a.m. in the morning, and it's a horrible time. Not as bad as when we used to race at 7 a.m., but 9 a.m. pretty horrible. And there's two of us in Berlin. Roger's in Switzerland. Craig is in Australia, I believe. Amy's in the UK. Where's Mark? Is Mark's in the UK as well, I think. So, yeah. So racing at this time is going to feel quite different. Probably a bit easier. Roger's face probably says otherwise, but so here they are. The D's are on the downhill. The gap is 45 seconds. Is it really, though? We shall see. But if that is the case, well, bravo from the D's for actually making that gap stay there. We're going to hop back. Whoa, is that really 45 seconds? I find that so hard to believe. Roger taking a chance to get a bit of a breather. Yes, he's nodding. Yeah. Roger, oh, it's so close. This is going to be a big push. We can see the D's on the page. That gap's not 45 seconds, surely. I do not believe that for a second. I feel pretty certain the C's are going to catch the D's here. Let's just see if we can catch them from the helicopter. Helicopter, thank you. Well, they're saying 40 seconds. As they say 40 seconds, it's currently 32 seconds. So, yeah, that gap's currently at 30 seconds. So this gap's come down considerably. So if I was a C right now, I'd be feeling very confident. And you can see some of the guys already pushing incredibly hard. Van Zetten, I'm pretty sure if I look at Van Zetten on his Zwift power, he's going to be a B, but he because he's putting out he's putting out pretty much low A numbers at the moment. So if you are a normal C, it's going to be very hard. I can see why Roger is suffering so much because he's basically riding at least a B pace for half of this, I think. So well done, Roger. The sad thing is, oh no, and luckily this does not contribute to your Zwift racing score. So if you do end up, you're not accidentally going to get bumped up to the Bs by doing the Chase to the Underground, but you could get a new FTP. So, and if you look on my screen, Roger won't be able to see this, but on my screen, you can see the yellow beacon up ahead. And that is like a little carrot on a stick for these other riders. Van Zetten now doing 5.5 watts per kilo. Van Zetten being the one telling everybody to stick together. I don't know. I feel like I just know when I look at Zwift Power, he's not going to be a C. And I'm going to feel like, this guy should be DQ'd. But no, Zwift stupid racing score, which doesn't work. So it's not necessarily his fault. Well, there you go. There is the catch. The Ds have just been caught by the Cs. And I have to do the customary nom 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 to indicate that the Cs are now the riders in the lead. And undoubtedly are going to be the ones that stay away. There is a few kilometers left of the race, so I am going to hop back and just try to see where our friends in the A's and B's are, if Zwift will let me, which it won't. No, there we are. I'm afraid I think the A's and the B's are too far away. Dan, there's a ride on for you. That will have to be sustenance enough for you today, I think. I think it's a little bit too late. Well, I'm not going to say too little, too late. Just not enough riders this week, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be very hard for you guys to come back. So really, it's about the C's and the D's. And are there some D's that can hang with these also mighty C's at the front of the race? We shall see. But I think if we look at this front group, it is all C's. And has Roger made it in? I think Roger has made it in. Good work, Roger. Currently sat in 7th wheel. And Roger has a real chance of winning here if he can just beat the other riders who aren't really C's. I believe in you, Roger. You've got to do it for Awakening. I'm sure Craig, even though you are competing against one another, even Craig will be cheering you on. So we're nearly there. We're so close to the finish. We know now that it is going to be the C's that win, but who from the C's is going to win? This is the question. So we're in the last couple of kilometers now. So it is going to be very, very cagey. Is that a rider up the road, or is that just a lamppost? It looks like one rider up the road. I'm like scared. Huh? Oh, there were some D's who went off the front. Of course there were. Of course there were. Okay. So who knows what these D's? I guess these D's are actually at least C's, because Westwood's doing 3.3 watts per kilo at the front, so he's not a D. Again, Zwift racing score currently nonsense. So there's a lot of chat on our Discord server saying how, wow, they've definitely got Zwift racing score right. They haven't. They clearly haven't. So anyway, Roger's taking in a breather here. I don't blame him. I do not blame him at all. I want to see a massive sprint out of Roger, because this is a massive opportunity for him. No pressure whatsoever, but this is a massive opportunity for Roger. to not only bring home a win for the coalition, but also for Awakening. And I know that everybody in the coalition and the whole of APAC will be watching this and cheering on Roger. He represents all of Asia Pacific right now. And yeah, and a little bit of Switzerland. So, but yeah, we're not far from the finish now. And yeah, it's going to be one hell of a sprint, and we're going to be there to capture every moment of it. Is anybody going to try and go early? That is going to be one of the interesting questions. Don't know, but we're rolling into the line. I'm sure the sprints are going to be kicking off left, right, and center any second. It's KG. It's KG. Roger is the first to go. Roger is going. Roger is going. He's got a little gap here. He's got a little gap. He's caught them napping. Van Zetten, no. Well, Van Zetten's number's a lot lower. Powman, come on, Roger. You're going to do it. You're going to do it, surely. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh! Jawohl! He's crying with happiness there. Roger caught them all napping. Look, he is smiling. I've never seen him so happy. Ah, the pure joy has overtaken him. Roger, amazing job. I can see that hurt, but you did a great job. Oh, really, really nicely done. Nicely done. I think I've basically chucked out of the race now, so I will see if I can hop in and catch where the A's are. I was too excited watching Roger win to switch back to another rider. See if we can quickly get back to Dan Pan. So many Dan Pans on the platform. Here we are. Is Dan going to be the one who gets it? Well, see, he's going past the Goon Man. He's left the Goon Man for dust. What a beautiful sprint from Dan. Well, look at that. Oh, Danny boy. Lovely. Oh, excellent work from Dan. Dan didn't let us down at all either. Okay, he did not get the result that he wanted, but he won the sprint. So cracking effort there. Let's just get Roger in. I wanted to give him a little bit of time to recover. He doesn't look fully recovered. Roger. Congratulations.
Yes, man. It was horrible.
You looked horrible.
I think I wouldn't even have attempted the sprint if you didn't motivate me. So I just tried. But I was already all out at this point when I started.
Wow, I was expecting some of the other guys who have been pushing the big numbers to come past you, but
yeah, me too.
They couldn't. They weren't putting out the same power. So you got that gap, and you just held it all the way to the line. So it's the perfect sprint. And now,
I guess, yeah.
After you've had a shower, you can go onto my Discord and clip it and share it on all of your social media, because it's a good clip. It's one for the Palmares. So
I think I got the PBs.
Any words you want to say to those who are watching?
Yeah, actually, I feel a little bit bad because my role would be to hold the team together and give some advice, but I wasn't able to ride
because they're pushing too hard.
So sorry, all the seats for that. Oh.
Wow, they did the job. I mean, I also was watching Todd in the D's, and he was saying, "Everybody stick with me. and he was behind everyone. So I think it was not only hard in the C's, I think it was pretty hard in the D's as well. Dan, let's bring you in. Dan, how was it for you this evening? Obviously, not a lot of riders to help you out.
Yeah, we ended up with 5, and then when we caught up to the B's, definitely wanted to keep it together. So they all stayed on until the hill, and I think we dropped a few, but a couple stayed on almost to the end. The end stayed on all the way to the end. So yeah, we were working to keep it together a little bit, but I thought we had more of a chance today with the climbs. But I think we were still a minute and a half back or so by the end.
I mean, so did I, to be honest. I really thought
Yeah.
Okay, it's a slightly shorter course. Well, I mean, it's a normal length, but it was like 200 meters of climbing. So normally that's enough to make it a lot more competitive, I'd say, between all of the categories. But yeah, honestly, I was watching the C's and the D's. They held it together much better over those climbs than they have done normally. Even the D's, who normally struggle a lot more.
Yeah, I always expect them to explode even on a 3-minute hill. But yeah, they did good.
But then, as I was also sort of complaining about throughout the stream, is there's clearly riders of all categories all over the shop. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So maybe if the Zwift Racing Score doesn't get like fixed, we might have to change the groupings in the chase race to make it a bit more even. So
how about power-ups?
Power-ups?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we've not had power-ups in the past is because people have often used them to drop the rest of the riders. So part of the reason we kept the power-ups out is because because it helps keep everybody together. So yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking as a chaser.
Yeah, sure.
Us in the back where we can organize.
Well, I tell you what would be super cool to do if it was possible would be like, you know, to set it up where like if the time gaps were too big, then the chasing group, the A's for example, would always get like arrows or something or feathers if it was a climbing course. So you'd actually make it become closer with the power-ups. Which would be super cool, but I think that's beyond the scope of the platform, I think. So,
or do a course that has laps like one of the crit circuits, and do like burritos or something, and just completely make it chaos.
Yeah, just anvils.
I was thinking anvils would be good for this course if people like were at least a little bit coordinated and we could all use them together.
True. Coordination is a big word, I would say.
Yeah.
It's
fun,
James finished.
It's a good course.
James?
Yeah, I finished.
How was that for you, James?
Yeah, it's all right.
It looked hard.
We got to the climb and I'm just too heavy. So it's a shame. I need a 3-minute punch just to hang on. I'm up in the right, but I had nothing. So yeah, hard.
It looked hard, and I guess it doesn't get any easier when the A's catch you. So
numbers, if it had that size group start, it's going longer, but having 3 is a nightmare. But I don't know how close was it, Dan, by the time you got to the finish? Another minute, might have got it.
Yeah, so
definitely
I think if you're an A or a B, definitely try and join next week, because you know it does depend on the course. I try and always make the courses they're designed to be as close as possible. It also is sort of hoping that all the groups will be more or less even, or the A's and the B's are always going to be smaller, or they should be smaller, but they're stronger. So but we do need a few more A's and B's next week. We might poke around with the groupings a bit again. Now the Zwift Racing Score has changed again. But yeah, also let's try and get some more people joining the chase race and make it a bit more even. It's so exciting when it gets really close, but at least between the C's and the D's, it was quite close this week, which was also good to see. So even though not all the cats were really in with a chance in the end, at least it was still pretty close between the D's and the C's. So that was pretty cool to see. So, right. Well, thanks, James, Roger, Dan, and everybody who joined in the chase race this evening. Super cool. And yeah, once everybody's finished the rides and the results are in, we'll go in and check everything and then update the Zwift Power League. And then hopefully we will see you again next week. And well done again to Roger for getting the win. Let's just hope that heart rate monitor was working so he doesn't get DQ'd.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Was
All
great.
right. Thanks again. And then we will see you next week as I smoothly find my outro music. All right. Catch you later. Have a good weekend. Ciao.
Cheers, bye.